Hello, and I'm here with Will Lucas
Hello.
to do a little spotlight on the new structure deck that's just been released with
Yes.
some fairy cards.
Yes.
So, this is the first time I've seen the cards.
Yep.
But if you could give me a little talk through what's going on here. I see this is Sacred Arch Air Knight Parshaft. Is the deck's boss monster?
Yeah, so this is one of the new boss monsters that's come out. It allows the deck to basically recover a lot of cards and search out as well. When it can do piercing damage, and when it does inflict damage, you can search your deck for a counter trap card, or a card that has Sanctuary in its name, for example. So it's a really important card for the deck because it allows you to...
It's a Parshaft
card. Parshaft card, which the new...
He is himself a Parshaft card?
Yes, he is a Parshaft card.
And there are some others we'll come on to.
Yep, that we'll get to in later on. But when a counter trap does activate, you can banish 2 fairies from your hand, field, and or graveyard to special summon him. So this is a really key way to get him out, because you don't have to tribute summon him. It's just really simple to get him out.
Is that summon from hand, from deck?
So that summon is from hand and from graveyard.
Okay.
Yep, so it's very, very good.
Got some good recursion.
Yes.
And then we have Minerva, Scholar of the Sky, as a new normal summonable fairy monster.
Yep, Minerva is actually one of the most important cards for the deck. It's absolutely amazing. Every time a counter trap is activated, it gains 500 attack that keeps stacking on. So that's really good. And also, when you do have a Sanctuary in the Sky on your side of the field, when a counter trap is activated, you can add a counter trap from your graveyard to your hand that's name was different from the one that was activated.
Okay.
And that isn't once per turn.
So you keep cycling through all of
cycling
the
through them
every time you play one.
Yes, you do.
And so this is quite similar to a card we've seen before in Bountiful Artemis.
Yes,
what I assume is also a key part of that.
Yep, Bountiful Artemis has always been a key card for counter fairies, regardless of the era that it's been out in, because it's a very old deck, of course.
Yep.
And this allows you to obviously still recur cards into your hand, you replenish them, so when you do have a Bountiful and a Minerva out, you get a lot of cards very quickly.
And we also see Guiding Ariadne.
One of our favourite cards, of course. Guiding Ariadne, being able to not pay cost for counter traps is just so good and saves your life so much.
And also for the search effect.
Of course, yes.
Now I assume with those we'll be able to be making the best of this. So all level 4 light fairies.
Exactly. Ties of the Brethren is obviously a very good one. Works with Minerva, works with obviously Bountiful Artemis. You're able to recur out some very good and powerful cards. There's some other ones as well that also work with Sanctuary in the Sky. So it's just one card, or just using 2 cards, the monster and ties, allows you to just bring out a whole host of advantage on the board. And it's just so good.
You're saying there that Sanctuary in the Sky is an important activator for a lot of these cards.
Yes.
But we've also seen a new version.
Card. Yes.
Okay. So can you tell us a bit about the Sanctum of Parshaft?
Yes.
It's a Parshaft card.
It is a Parshaft card, so it can be searched with the boss monster. It also counts as Sanctuary in the Sky while it's on the field. So if you do have a Sanctuary in the Sky field spell, and this, you've got double usage. All fairy type monsters gain 300 attack and defense. Set spell and trap cards on the field cannot be targeted or destroyed, and also once per turn you can target up to 3 fairy monsters and also counter traps in your graveyard and put them on top of your deck in any order.
Okay.
So it's a lot of effects going on there, but it's a very important card.
A lot of card text, and critically it is the Sanctuary in the Sky whilst it's on the field, which sets you up for some cards. We were talking...
Yes, so there's quite a few cards. So one of the older cards that you might see that is in the structure deck is Divine Punishment. So Divine Punishment's activation requirement is just to have a Sanctuary in the Sky on your side of the field, then you can negate a monster spell or trap card. So you have 2 cards that count as Sanctuary in the Sky, completely for free, no other cost than that. Okay. So that's obviously very good. You run that at 3 if you can. And
we were also getting payoff from the Sanctuary with Minerva, Scholar of the Sky as well.
Minerva will be able to add cards back to your hand from the graveyard that's different from the counter trap you have activated.
So this is a very new card, another Parshaft card.
Yep.
The Rebirth of Parshaft.
This is one amazing card. It's a new counter trap that can negate a monster spell or trap card. Its activation is you pay 1,000 life points, reveal a counter trap in your hand, then you discard a card in your hand, so it doesn't have to be the card you've revealed, to negate that monster spell or trap card. Then you shuffle that card into the deck. It doesn't get destroyed and go to the graveyard. You shuffle it back into the deck. And then on top of that, you can special summon a Parshaft monster from your deck or extra deck. So
that's why we see the Avenging Knight.
Yeah, we see a very old card there, but you can special summon it out, and if people are unsure about that because it's a very old card, it's just a synchro monster that allows you to do piercing damage. That's all its other effect.
So it's nothing special, but it's another option.
It's a nice option, and don't forget it does get special summoned out to the Link Zone because it's coming from the extra deck, so very important.
Yeah. Now with this card, you were saying it has quite a heavy cost. It was reveal a card.
So you pay 1,000 life points first.
Yes.
You then reveal a counter trap. Then, once you've revealed the activation, you then discard a card, and then you negate and shuffle in.
Okay.
However, yes, big but.
Guiding Ariadne.
So with Guiding Ariadne, the only thing that you need to be able to do is to have a counter trap in your hand.
You don't need to discard or pay life points.
Nope.
Excellent. And that also works very nicely with other traps that you might be playing in the deck.
A whole host of old traps.
So we see.
So we have Ultimate Providence and the Solemn Brigade there, so Solemn Warning and Solemn Strike. Ultimate Providence, just a little known fact with Ultimate Providence, you have to discard a card of the same type that you're trying to negate. With Guiding Ariadne, you don't have to have a card in your hands to be able to activate and resolve it either, because that is the ruling on it, it completely wipes out the cost.
Yep, and we see some other counter trap cards, not necessarily synergizing with Ariadne specifically, but just being additional counter traps.
Yeah, they're just additional counter traps. It completely depends on how you want to build the deck, and there's just so many ways to build it. The one that I will point out is this one right here. Drastic Drop-Off is probably one of the first counter traps you should be putting in your counter trap deck, because it's one of the few cards that doesn't actually require your opponent to really do much, because once you set it, they're going to be drawing a card unless they have Reckless Greed or something upon them. It means that you can get your quick effects from Bountiful and from Minerva as well. So it gets your recursion going straight away, which is very important.
It's a guaranteed resolution of a counter trap, whereas they might be trying to play around some of the
Basically, yeah, because they might just be able to normal summon and try and attack over, and you can't really respond. With a Drastic Drop-Off, you start to get the effects going at least.
Now, we see that the cards here, it's not relying too heavily on special summons, so we're able to incorporate these two cards as well.
Yes, we have Pot of Duality, which is obviously a very good card. Even if you are running Ties of the Brethren, you can still run Pot of Duality, still a great card. Just means you can dig to get some certain cards in the deck. We all know what Pot of Duality does. But Card of Demise, that one, Card of Demise, is just the best card ever. Being able to set everything, activate Card of Demise, get that pluses is just so amazing and helps the deck recur very quickly as well. With the addition of the pendulums being in the background now with the new rules, it does mean that you do have Ariadne there as well, so you can't set 5 straight away. So you have to be a bit careful with the way that you do activate Card Demise. Normally you could just blanket set everything or summon a monster, activate. You have to be a little bit careful now with the way that you can conserve your resources, but it's still an important card for the deck. You either play Card of Demise and play the standard deck, or you build a deck without Card of Demise, which you'll be using like Honest and different things like that.
Could you possibly see Luster Pendulum to work with the Guiding Ariadne as well?
You could, yeah. Back in the before this structure deck came out, Luster was a very important card because it meant that you could activate the Luster, activate the Ariadne, pop the Ariadne to search out another one, and then be able to search out your counter traps. So it's very good, and obviously there are more support for pendulums now, and obviously Luster is still an incredibly strong card. So there are ways to build that, but that is more of a pendulum build, I would say.
How do you feel about the potential for success with this deck? Are we going to see it at the top tables today?
Top tables today? Well, it all depends on the build, because there are so many different ways you can build counter fairies. You can have a 40 card standard deck, or you can even have a 60 card that's not having law mowing because there's no point to run it. But it just means because you can put so many utility cards in there to go up against the meta, it's kind of a difficult one to build, but at the same time, I feel like you really need to know the meta. You need to know what you're playing against to be able to play the counters against them. Because a lot of people, and I have a lot of experience with this deck, a lot of people try and bait out your activations and your negates to make way for their actual plans and their strategies. So you need to be able to hold back and be like, I'm fine with this happening. I think it's a very strong deck. If you get that build right, if you're confident with it, I think it's a very strong deck, and I don't see any reason why it can't be at the top tables, to be honest. It's a really good structure deck and definitely one of my favourites of most recent times.
Well, that's about all we have time for. Thank you very much for the information.
Thank you very much, Tom. See you later.